Welcome to day one of finally learning Skullgirls as an FPS gamer and former competitive Smash player with ADHD. So since I haven't touched this game in a week, in this session, I literally just took the time to look at all her moves and basically repped out each one for like a minute or two. Now, a big thing for me in games in general, but fighting games especially, is controls. I need to feel comfortable. I need to know what does what so I'm not thinking about that like while I'm fighting. So I hopped into training mode and simply jumped around, dashed back and forth, did air dashes, super jumped for about like just 2 minutes to get reacquainted with the movement. Then I started incorporating aerials. Are they called aerials in 2D fighters still? I think so, right? After each jump, I would throw out a low punch, then a medium kick, then a medium punch, then a low kick, then a heavy punch, a heavy kick. Throughout this whole thing, I wasn't worrying about like the spacing or anything. This was all just to really just get a feel of knowing what button does what. Very basic stuff. As someone who doesn't play too many 2D traditional fighters, I really want to make sure I feel in control of my character. So I'm not just button mashing. Not saying I probably won't button mash a little bit in the beginning when I'm actually fighting people for the first time, but still, I want to actually like be thinking about what I'm pressing and knowing what does what. If something in Smash I did too, to get really comfortable with my character. So you build that muscle memory. So after I did some basic aerials, I moved on to her specials and motion inputs. Ooh, motion inputs. How you scare a Smash player, guys. Just kidding. But this time, because there were motion inputs, again, just to get that feel, instead of just a minute on each one, I spent like 2 minutes just to make sure I could do them consistently. And I misinputted here and there, but for the most part, I started getting things fairly consistently. I also didn't want to get tripped up when the inputs reverse, depending on if you're on the left or right side of your opponent. So I would jump on both sides and go back and forth just to get the feeling down and be consistent as possible. And once I kind of got the warm up out of the way, it was time to start learning a combo. I feel like combos in fighting games, at least traditional fighters, can be intimidating to learn, and it feels like you have to learn all these combos before you could even play the game. And honestly, I had that thought process for a long time, like when I first tried to pick up this game years ago. But a big thing I learned is it's just not realistic to be able to perform a whole combo when you pick up a game for the first time, especially if you're newer to fighting game. Now, it sounds obvious, like duh, you're not going to be good at something immediately. But I feel like it's a legitimate mental barrier to entry a lot of people have with fighting games. Keyword mental barrier, because you don't need to know all those combos. So I chose Black Dahlia's beginner combo on the wiki. So I took the time to watch the demo of this combo so I know what it actually looks like when I'm trying to learn it. And my focus isn't to get this combo perfectly down to a T, like before I even play anybody or even jump into like arcade or story mode. However, I wanted an idea of like a flow. So I kind of have my own game plan when I land a hit, even if it's just pieces of that combo. I broke it down into pieces. So I started with down low kick, down medium punch, and I just did these first two to make sure I got the feel of that going. Then I incorporated her launcher, her heavy kick. Did that for another 5 minutes. I incorporated the jump medium kick, the jump heavy punch. And now here is where I got stuck. I was flowing, the dopamine was hitting, so I was proud of myself until this part. Now, I don't know if I was inputting too fast or too slow or just my timing is off in some way. And I kept going back to watch the demo of the combo and I couldn't quite figure it out. I managed to pull off the combo a couple times, but the combo counter stopped, so I knew I wasn't doing it right most of the time. So in day two, we're just gonna lock in to this combo again, this part, and try to really figure it out.
How else are we gonna make the rent?